So it seems the one drop rule is cool until it's a beauty contest. But yeah, as I'm looking right now, there's only like 2 or 3 videos on this topic. It's still popping off on Twitter. I'm gonna try to leave a link to some of the responses to this post on Twitter if it'll work. But let's get into the topic at hand. Not black enough. Biracial winner of Miss Black Universe of Texas draws backlash. This is actually brought to you by Cassandra Jaramillo. She's a Mexican writer. Link will be in the description box to her article and I guess to her Facebook page because she's posted it there too. Alrighty, so Rachel Mallison, I assume that's how you pronounce it, has always struggled with her biracial identity after being crowned Miss Black University of Texas. Social media users attacked her for the way she looks. That damn black Twitter. I don't think that's the proper way to frame it. They attacked her for her lack of melanin content. Mallison is not letting it ruin her moment though. For me, I have always had a battle with not being black enough, but to not just place within the win, but to truly, not just to place, but to win the title was truly rewarding, she said. After winning Miss Black Universe of Texas 2017 on April 30th, Mallison said she felt empowered as a woman. Previously, she felt insecure, not knowing where she fit in. I remember I felt so insecure because people did not understand who I was by my looks. She previously said in the campus newspaper, I am confident in it now. I see it as a unique trait where I am able to teach people not every black person and not every mixed person looks the same way. Kappa Alpha Pi, a predominantly black fraternity, has hosted this pageant for 35 years in the University of Texas. The scholarship pageant is open to black women, including those who are biracial. Let's recap on that. Kappa Alpha Pi, a predominantly black fraternity, has hosted the pageant for 35 years at the University of Texas. The scholarship pageant is open to black women, including biracials. That's important. When the organization posted the photos of the winner on Twitter, users were quickly criticizing her based on her appearance, questioning her blackness. It quickly escalated to a social media debate on colorism, a form of discrimination based on skin color. It's not the same as racism. It's a form of bias that revolves around the shade of a skin color, not a prejudice on actual racial statuses. The black community, the blacks, is supposed to support each other. If you're black, you're black, she said. Social media users question Mallison's background, often saying she's too light. Her father was black, her mother is white. Mallison said avalanche of tweets got so bad she had to delete the app from her phone. Although some were quick to criticize, she said several UT students have supported her online. And she has her receipts. You have black women. Here's a sister saying congratulations to her. We love you and support you. So there's sisters who are supporting her. University of Texas senior David Mantra said he felt a personal responsibility to defend her as a pageant organizer and someone who is also biracial, right? So the brother who runs this show, the organizer of the pageant, is also mixed, and you will see his picture in a minute. All right, recapping a little bit. So I'm assuming that brother or one of these both of them look mixed to me, but whatever. This is more context to the conversation because it makes sense. But somebody blamed. I'll get to that later. Why I even address this video in the first place. But it says that the brother, who's also biracial, people were trying to say she only has one black parent, so she isn't black. Morton said, the brother in the picture above, it was like, that's me, and I dare someone to tell me that I'm not black. Brother, you're not black. You can never represent me. You're biracial. It's no hard feelings. It's no ill will, no malice. I just ain't supporting no biracial person being black. That's just how I feel. You can identify however you choose to. She will be graduating this month with a degree in journalism. She's a member of the National Association of Black Journalists and involved with student media on the campus. So, that is the article. I'll link it. You can read the comments. It is what it is. I'm going to throw in, if it works, some of these Twitter responses real quick. Let y'all check out how that goes. You know how Black Twitter does. And after the debacle with Shea Moisture, you already know they still got their pitchforks ready and they're ready to boycott again. Off the top of the dome, just putting things to the proper context. We have to contextualize these things. And just reading the whole article, knowing that, okay, so the head of this organization is also a biracial man. And, you know, he ran it. They allow women to participate. Somebody said this on Black Historian's page that, you know, it reminded him of the Japanese thing. And it's like, well, if you let biracial women compete in the pageant, you can't really complain about it. So it's like if the Japanese didn't want that mixed Black Japanese woman representing them, then they shouldn't have let her compete in the first place. And I guess you could say the same thing here. One thing also, something that Carl mentioned on the Grapevine in his video where they were talking about the Netflix movie about fraternities and hazing. He said that his organization was one of the first that actually allowed a dark-skinned Black man to be the head. So I know people like to play the whole who had it worse colorism thing and victimization. Obviously, Black men and Black women are different. We respond to things differently and we express ourselves differently on different issues, but it sounds silly when you try to play the who had it worse game when historically, you know, it's an issue, period. The Black bourgeoisie class has always had that paper bag test, and you see that in their organization. So I'm not saying that's the case here, but the head of the organization is mixed, and then this chick wins. That's context to put it in. Now, the other context you have to acknowledge is that a lot of people complaining they're not in the organization, they're not attending that school. So in the grand scheme of things, that's kind of irrelevant, the complaints. It's just like the same moisture thing. A lot of the sisters were complaining about that. They don't even use the product anymore, or they don't use the product. They just saw a situation and they want to jump on the bandwagon. So I think some of the complaints, they're irrelevant, being that this is an organization that had a 35-year receipts of including biracial people. So it's like if you're including them, there's a possibility that they might win. So it's like if you don't support that, just don't support that pageant. Support pageants who keep it Black. Let them do their own thing and you do yours. All right, so yeah, if I'm choosing, I am, you know, I'm gonna pick the sister in the Black. You know what I mean? The one that's one down from the one in the blue next to her with the little African outfit. She can come too. And the sister on the end, she ain't too shabby either. But anywho, they're all beautiful women. None of them are unattractive. Someone asked a question on a Twitter rant. You know, what was the criteria? And another Black woman respond. Context matters. It said, you know, being Black and being talented. It's that simple. But anyways, people ask the question, why do Black men participate in these conversations? Well, one, we're social commentators. We speak on what we see that happens socially. And also, this shit is in our face every other day. Like, there's always something in regards to these conversations. So we speak on it and we give our input like everybody else does. But one of the reasons why I even address this was because a female friend on Facebook, she did post this and she had her rendition of what this was all about. She starts off her article, her statement with, the Black community considered Obama Black, yet his mother was white. Had this been an article about an accomplishment or something in science or technology, Blacks will be praising her accomplishment and sharing it all over Instagram. I absolutely agree with that statement. I've said this before. When it's something like president, you know, the best golfer in the world, you know, something of prestige, Black folks will want to attach themselves to it because they want wins. So they'll give Blackness away to people who have the one drop in them into the beauty contest. I said this too. I'm going to do a video on this in the future, but watch out for Kamala Harris because she's getting all these attributes and praises for being the first Black woman to do XYZ, and there hasn't been a backlash for her getting this, right? She's, you know, as far as being, she's probably going to be the Attorney General or something. She was the Attorney General. She's going to run for the Senate, so They're giving her all this credit for being the first black woman to do XYZ, but she's black and Chinese. And she's married to a white guy. We're going to address that, though, in a different video. Got something coming. But I agree with that first part of her statement. When it's a beauty contest, that's when people start to feel uncomfortable. But if it's an accomplishment in science, math, politics, business, we have no problem co-signing. But here's where it gets heavy. She goes on to say, let me tell you what this is really about. This is about black men choosing a woman who looks dang near white, and it hurts the sisters' feelings. Out of all the black women who participated, she's the only one who's mixed with black and white. Men choose her. That's what this is really about, because black women often feel passed over and seen as less beautiful because of our skin color. Now, context matters. This sister is not a dark-skinned black woman at all. She's no different, no lighter, or probably the same complexion as that sister with the light-skinned girl guilt who was coming at, I think, Ricky Smiley for his joke. She's about her complexion. This is why this happened. And the other narrative is black men overlooking black women and seeing winners, and non-black women plays a huge underlying role in this. Wait, there's more. Shaking her head. This pains me because this woman has every right as a black woman to win. She was black enough to be a member of the journalists organization, yet she's ridiculed for being too light to win the pageant. What the heck is this woman supposed to do? Shrink back for insecure women? I think not. Shine, so shine. So this is a black woman supporting this biracial woman, being a representation of black women in this group. And like I said, context matters. This organization has always included mixed women. So you can't have an organization that wants to include people who are not black, but then get mad when they win the competition. That don't make sense. That's a valid point. If you don't want them to win, you can't let them compete. My response specifically to her, because she was blaming black men, was I think it's a bit deeper than that. Every group has a word or a name to describe someone who is half of them. We the only group that wants to embrace everyone, even when it don't benefit us. Other groups will let someone know who is half of them, they can't be the representation of them. We saw this twice when the black Japanese lady won the beauty contest. The Japanese were not happy with her winning. The Cherokee Indians, and this ain't even a beauty contest conversation. This was about their reparations and the money they get back from the state, from their casinos and whatnot. They, all the I got Indian in me. Well, the Cherokee Indians said, no, we're not claiming you have blacks no more. So they said you can't participate, and that means you don't get the benefits of being Cherokee, even though your ancestors were a part of that tribe. And a lot of them were their slaves. That's like when people be like, oh, the Taylor sons were bad. I'm like, the motherfuckers had slaves too. Different conversation though. But I go on to say that about the Cherokee Indians, the mixed ones got kicked out. But because we want wins, we will give blackness to a president or the world's greatest golfer. But when it comes to a beauty contest, that's when black women start feeling some type of way. Which I stated, I understand, because as a black man, I would not let her brother, who looks just like her, represent me, or the co-founder or the person in charge of the specific pageant, who said, "I dare somebody tell me I'm not black. You can be whatever you want to be, bro, but you still can't represent me." I said, look at the Shea Moisture situation on the ad, and I brought up the same thing, how a lot of black women were mad that she got to be in that one clip of the ad, which we know was not even a whole commercial, but that same black woman is a YouTuber who's very popular, and she got a lot of her success off other black women. But when the dominant culture gives a woman like that a platform and lets her be the representation of black women, then it's a problem. Her response to that was, I don't disagree with any of that, but it will always be something, and in this case, it's black men merely choosing a nearly white-looking woman who, to me, simply looks like a light-skinned black woman. And this is sad because what is she to do pretty soon? Mixed individuals will simply have their own identity, which I've been saying they should have already, as biracial, everything. So they won't even have to deal with this. LOL, I have a biracial pageant biracial organization, biracial cause, and events. LOL. I said that, and my response to that was, oh, I asked the question because you keep blaming black men. Did black men choose the winners in this female? Or I thought at the time it was a female organization. It's just a black Greek organization that includes biracials. Um, but I agree with her. I think that biracials should have their own space. I have two biracial nieces, and they're not taught to pick a race. So I agree. They should have their own space too. But the problem with that is, as much as the few women who don't claim him and won't put them on pedestals, if they had their own space and they still got attention from other black men and if the dominant culture funded it, black women would still be in their feelings. So it's like, even if you separate, like if you ready to compete and say, you know what, we don't want you in our group, you go do your own thing, but it's just a problem we have, we still gonna look over there and see that the ice is colder, and especially if other black men are over there in that competition or giving praise, and if other men, whether it be black men or white men, are using their resources to promote this kumbaya multiracial thing, which I think should happen now, being that there's a consensus on YouTube that all these black men with non-black wives shouldn't get support from black women. Some people even made that statement about the advice show. That's why he's not getting any Patreons. It's because his wife is Mexican and black women ain't supporting that shit no more. So if that's true, then these black men with non-black children should do more things like the Kanye West casting call, or like the director of Gorilla should just erase them and focus on what they produce. That just seems all fair and love and war to me. But that's it. Just in closing, I think the conversation is still complex because we're not a monolithic in our thinking. As I've said before, a lot of folks, especially the older generation, they co-sign the one drop rule. We give blackness to people that have achieved something that's extreme, or something we've never done before. Also, I stated earlier that even if dark-skinned black women had their own space and it was a real competition, meaning not inside the space, but like you have options to go, oh, I can go over here and get this, if I can go over there and get that. If the dominant culture supports biracial or mixed women having their own platform, their own kumbaya, the question is, can sisters take that L if they lose, right? Because it's going to be a competition. And like I said earlier, there's a lot less light-skinned girl guilt. I noticed chicks from, she looked better red and quoting those lyrics and statuses and changing their Facebook names to match their complexion. So it will be a real competition. And I asked that question: what sisters, if the L came, would they be willing to take that L and keep going forward and not be concerned with what they're doing over there? I don't think they can. But context matters. The organization lets them compete, so you can't really get mad if they win. If you don't want them to compete, if you don't want them to win, then you have to exclude them. It's just that simple. I don't like how Homegirl tried to blame us without acknowledging that black women have a very large contribution to these women being elevated in the first place. As we talked about, how often women sit behind in the background and let them just take shine over them. Whereas the difference between black men is that we will compete at least, and again, we respond to it differently. We joke about it. Black women can't do the light skin, dark skin jokes that black men do with other black men. One thing I don't like either is how people make it seem like it's one way. It's not. It goes both ways. It's just DJ Envy comes at Charlamagne just as much as Charlamagne comes at DJ Envy. Even Angela Yee, who's biracial, she come at him for bleaching his skin and all that stuff too. But it seems like everybody makes it seem like it's just Charlamagne. No, they all do it to each other. But yeah, if colorism is an issue, period. Playing the victim game of who had it worse is irrelevant because it's just stupid. People don't really care about that. They see it and they want to address it, and it is what it is. Like I said earlier, that brother Carl stated that his organization was the first to allow dark-skinned black men to participate. Me, I don't believe in pledging that stuff anyways, but I'm damn sure not going to try to make you let me fit in your space when you have this paper bag test that I can't beat anyways. That's just stupid to me. I would rather go off and do my own thing. That's just how I think. So yeah, but this is the topic of conversation again. What are the solutions to this problem? Can it be fixed? I don't think so. People say that black men, I know there's an article saying black men need to represent black women or shut up. And I'm like, I don't really see that happening. When y'all boycotting the black men who are in the position to do anything in the first place because of their choice of mates or their political ideologies or whatever. So you've excluded the ones who are already in the position, the Byron Allens and whatnot. And then, you know, or you can even add the Shane Moisture situation too. So I don't know. Oh yeah, but and then it's like you leave people in a space like, do they even want to invest in doing those things when they see what could happen when they go off script or when they make a mistake? Like, you're making yourself less of a market, a demographic to want to be addressed with all these knee-jerk reaction boycotts. Like, if people are condoning that and saying they should happen, which I've heard even black men say they should, then, but you're a black man who understands that what black men already aren't doing, to me, how wise is it to boycott the ones who are in a position to do things in the first place and at least attempt? Even if you claim it's half-assed or whatever, it's there. And you're saying you want to boycott them too. So I'm saying, what incentive do you think black men who come in with bigger risks, because they're not in the position to do these things, right? They're attempting to do them. They're trying to do something. It's like, I don't know. All right, just trying to see if I forgot anything. Reading all the comments, which I do before all the videos. I look at different spaces. I know that different groups and whatnot have different opinions on the topic, And it's the same old. Some folks is co-signing the one drug rule. Many people who might not even believe it, but they're like, yo, you said Obama was black, so it is what it is. You can't flip and pick and choose when you want the person to be black or not. One person, a brother, said that black dark-skinned people think that they want to be the center or whoever. They want to be the spokesperson for everything black. That conversation was interesting. Another sister in the conservative black group pretty much said that blacks are blacks, whites are whites, and mixed people are mixed. And then she started breaking down how they claim in the future near that most of these kids are going to be mixed. So that's going to be a whole different can of worms when that happens. I've noticed, which I've been saying for a minute, a lot of these white women that got like mixed grandkids or mixed children, they've been silent throughout the years, but they're starting to more vocalize how it hurts to have one of those, the whole Alicia Keys, Barack Obamas. They identify with the race of the father who abandoned them, especially, and they had no attachment or no ties to that family, but were raised by their white side. Melissa Harris Perry as well. So a lot of them are being more vocal about the pain that is from seeing their offspring choose. We already know that in the pro-black and black community, they hate interracial relationships, but they will accept you, the product of that, which is confusing as hell. You got your Tariqs and your what's the dude, Puerto Rican dude, who's they want to rule black people to death. So particularly women as well. But I don't know. Conversation is complex. It's not simple. There's so many different opinions and views on it. I don't see a solution for the topic. I say it's probably gonna get a lot worse, especially the more mixing race going on, the more swirling that sisters are encouraged to do is gonna happen. Who knows what the effects of that's gonna be in the near future, especially when I pointed out in the video, but someone said that even if they did their own thing, and if they had their own thing, people would still be in their feelings because the dominant culture will probably be attached to that over there. And as you see the consensus of this kind of argument, a lot of folks is just like, yo, we gave Obama blackness, we would be hypocritical to not give her blackness as well. Hey, but in context, the damn fraternity allows mixed women, so it's like, I don't even think this conversation should be that deep because they allow them to participate. So you can't allow people to participate and tell them that they cannot win. Okay? That's just stupid. So I don't think the outrage should be as much, being that that's the context. You let them participate, there's a possibility they're going to win. But I didn't like how old girl tried to blame black men without acknowledging how a lot of these mixed race people get in these spaces and get platforms in the first place. You got to address that. The majority of the majority of the comments defending this are from black women. So it is what it is.